Today, we will hear from Black Americans' reaction to the latest news of Trump deporting thousands of Cubans. Check it out.
Cubanos por trunk to the front of the room. Do y'all remember that movement?
Oh my God, I will vote. I will vote for Donald Trump. Vote for Donald Trump. I love my freedom. I will vote. Come on, for Donald Trump.
A few moments later,
a wave of disappointment. One of President Donald Trump's most loyal voting blocs, Cuban and Venezuelan immigrants. Now speaking out in Miami, a Republican stronghold, as the recent wave of deportations hits home.
Ay, sí, usted está aquí por su esposo. Por mi esposo que fue detenido ahora injustamente.
I will vote for Donald Trump. Everybody, come on.
¡Injusticia! ¡Es esto! ¡Injusto! Esto es para cualquiera. Tienen lista con abogados, sin abogados, esto es como quiera. Como si fuera un delincuente, no es ningún delincuente cumpliendo derechos en este país. Y mira lo que le hacen. ¡Injusticia!
¿Qué caso tenía su esposo? Y 220A con fecha de corte. Y que estaba detenida, que había presentado el asilo. Pero nada, a ellos no les importa que tú tengas asilo, a ellos no les importa nada. Eso es al azar. Porque por favor, que ayuden, que traten de apoyar a mi esposo como apoyar a los...
But the fact that y'all thought this man was going to protect you with what he showed us in his first term is beyond imagination. But there's something different between Cubans and Venezuelans like this than other Latinos. Because, see, they thought they had the complexion for protection. They thought they was white enough and blonde enough that they would slip under the radar. But they learned today. Now, what about the infamous singer? And not for nothing, that actually low-key, minus the lyrics, was a banger. Let's see what happened to her.
It's been happening frequently at the 333 Miami Avenue Federal Court building. Janet Correa's husband was detained this week. According to her immigration lawyer, he has already been placed on expedite removal.
So let's see. You weren't light enough. You weren't loud enough in your support for him. And as great as you sing, and you do, you couldn't even sing good enough to get him to pick you. And if you had listened to everybody else, when we kept telling you you were never going to be picked, you might not have put yourself in that situation. But this was a long overdue wake-up call for people like you, ma'am. And you have finally effed around and found out. There's nothing else left to be said, but have the day you voted for. And don't make me say it no more.
I will vote for Donald Trump.
Latinos for Trump. Specifically, Miami Cubans for Trump. Bring your ass. You bitches on my docket today. Y'all are the definition of political pick-me's. You're so eager, like ready, willing, and fucking able to go from one dictator to the fucking next. Now, I know y'all not systematically accustomed to freedom, but trust me, it's a good thing. Now, when it comes to you white presenting Cubans, I can understand, whether it be you naturally look that way or, you got the work done. I can understand your delusion in terms of, having proximity to whiteness and thinking that you're going to get a seat at the table. And while you may get a seat, it is with the expressed understanding that the moment you act familiar, them envelopians gonna put you in your place quick, fast, and in a motherfucking hurry by letting you know that you're simply a guest. But again, you look the part, so I can understand. But it's you Celia Cruz looking motherfuckers that blow me. Have you niggas looked in a fucking mirror? Like, let's keep it a fucking Goya bean in this bitch. The closest you're getting to a seat at the table is looking at that motherfucker through the window while you cutting the grass. Like, it is what the fuck it is. But since y'all think y'all got it like that, let's try a little experiment. When ICE roll up to collect you niggas, Elian Gonzalez style, I want you to look them square in the face. And I want you to say these 5 words to them. I know black eye Cuban. And let me know how the fuck it goes. Send me a postcard with Fidel on the fucking front. And when they send you Back home, I hope you can't take shit with you but your fucking MAGA merch. As a permanent reminder that the president you voted for is the same president that sent you fucking packing. For decades, we've been trying to give y'all a wake-up call. I bet now you niggas wish you would have picked up the phone.
I will vote for Donald Trump. I'm so happy to inform you that it's time for another riveting episode of Play Stupid Games, Win Stupid Prizes, courtesy of Eldowski. So this is Cuban illegal alien Eldowski, who entered the United States in 2019 under the previous Frumpy Dump administration. Now, he used the document, an I-220A, which is now not recognized by the current Frumpy Dump administration. So as you can see, Eldowski sat to receive this hideous tattoo of Frumpy Dump across his chest. And he loves Frumpy Dump. So much so that during the last election cycle, he made numerous podcasts. He went out protesting on behalf of Frumpy Dump just to get him elected. But now Eldowski, along with 400,000 other Cuban illegal aliens in this country who use the I-220A document, are worried about being deported.
One-on-one with Local 10 News.
Tú has sido fan del presidente Trump.
He describes himself as a fan of President Trump, so much so, he showed us how his admiration for the president is skin deep. 3 sessions, 4 hours long each.
Ya te digo, estaba bien emocionado con Trump.
But his love for the commander-in-chief has turned a bit sour as ICE raids intensify across the country.
Me asusta.
He, like so many other Cubans, are still in jeopardy of being deported.
Last year specifically, it was pretty aggressive.
Attorney Mark Prada estimates there are at least 400,000 Cubans who, like Eldowski, entered the U.S. through the southern border and were released with what's called an I-220A instead of parole.
Why?
I wish we knew the answer to that. It's a problem because the government does not accept that as a legal entry.
So Cubans with I-220As cannot apply to the Cuban Adjustment Act?
That's the government's position.
Prada is currently fighting the Trump administration in court to grant Cubans with I-220As parole and a chance to legalize their status.
We've been arguing that they all have been paroled and that the paperwork's just paper.
En un limbo.
In the meantime, Cubans like Eldowski find themselves in a dangerous legal limbo.
No es lo que esperaba.
He came to the U.S. in 2019 and thought by now Trump would have helped Cubans like him legalize their status.
Ha sido todo lo contrario.
He says he feels let down, but doesn't regret his tattoo. He's still hopeful for Cubans like him here and those back home, like with Venezuela and Maduro's capture.
Cuba libre también.
He still believes the man he holds so close and dear will deliver.
I declare, honey, what a disgrace. So again, he sat for 12 hours to receive this hideous, despicable tattoo, only to be deported by that same man. Make it make sense, because it doesn't. Because if you think that your ass is not going to get deported, you got another thing coming. It doesn't matter what you got on your chest. You better ask the owner of Frumpy Dump Burger. Hey, you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. Just think about how many legal Cubans he may have convinced to vote for Frumpy Dump, because his ass didn't vote for nobody.
I will vote for Donald Trump. I will vote. Raise your hand, come on. For Donald Trump.
Cubans in Florida are being deported in record numbers. Cubans have had a long-standing special relationship with the United States of America and have had special immigration privileges for decades now. Cubans were among some of the Latino population who supported and voted for Donald Trump at the highest numbers, lest we forget the Donald Trump song that they came up with.
Vote for Donald Trump, I love my freedom. I will vote for Donald Trump.
While Cubans held those privileges for decades, Donald Trump has changed that. According to an article by the New York Times, has repatriated more than 1,600 Cubans in 2025, according to the Cuban government. That is about double the number of Cubans who were repatriated in 2024 And in years that Trump has been president, he has sent more Cubans back than his last 3 predecessors. Polls, however, suggest that many Cubans who support Trump still do support Trump, but they're confused as to why they thought they would be immune to ICE raids, immune to deportation, and they really thought they were a part of the MAGA family. At the end of the day, this is one big fuck around and found out, and I told you so, because you were always Latino in this country. You were never white. You were never MAGA. You were never a part of white supremacy or a part of the white national identity, my love. Now, beloved, look at you. You and Abuelita are getting separated, going to the panaderia to buy Cuban bread. And that's on you. That is not on anyone else, because you voted for this. And this is not me gloating, because no one should be getting separated from their families. No one should be deported. But you guys were one of the main group of people to tell us to shut up, and that you knew what President Trump was going to do for you.
Thousands of Cubans are facing deportation because the Supreme Court ruled to basically take away the humanitarian parole that was allowing Cubans to come to the United States due to the crisis over in Cuba. And, you know, I'm not shocked, because Trump said he's doing exactly what he said he was going to do in his campaign. And I don't feel bad, because a lot of Cubans were in support of Trump. I live in Miami, so I know about Cubans for Trump, right? Even the ones who couldn't vote, they were out campaigning for Donald Trump. And if you know anything about Miami Cubans, they are racist. They are racist, not even just to like black people or whatever. They are racist to other Hispanics that don't look like them. Like if you have a little bit of a tan, they are racist towards you. They are colorist, you know, and I don't care if people say, well, I'm not that type of Cuban. Okay, well, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the ones that you know act just like this. And I feel like Cubans shot themselves in the foot, not only just because they were campaigning for Trump, but, you know, you're claiming, you know, to come over to the United States because of the crisis in Cuba, and it's not safe there, the communism, but you all are flying to Cuba multiple times a year to visit family, to spend Christmases there, to spend summers there, to stay for a month, but you're claiming that it's not safe to be there, and that's why you needed to come to the United States. But there's hella Cubans that are going back to Cuba multiple times a year, right? And documenting it. And that's just not the case for other, you know, immigrants who are going to be affected by, you know, TPS being overturned. Like if you think about Haiti, you can't even fly into Haiti from, like US Airlines cannot fly to Haiti, right? You can get on American Airlines and fly to Cuba, but you can't get on any US airline and fly to Haiti because of the crisis there, right? I do not feel bad for Cubans because they got what they asked for, but I do feel bad for other immigrants who are, you know, facing deportation to a country where they really are not safe there and they have nothing there, right?
Hey, y'all remember this? The I will vote for Donald Trump crowd? Remember them? Do you remember this video coming up right here?
Vote for Trump. Let's go. Vote for Trump. I will vote for Donald Trump.
Well, now look at this. Cubans are being deported from Florida in record numbers under Trump's second term. Even though many of them backed him, we know the Miami Cubans love to think that they are non-minorities. They love to think that they're better than every other Latino group. They love to think that they came here a certain way and F everybody else. And they very much love to vote Republican and love to vote against their interest. But not working out them so well. How many of them are saying I would vote for Donald Trump now? Because as you can see, they're getting deported like crazy. But remember, y'all was out here with this Cubans for Trump. Now, y'all out here like this. And this is why I will say every time, some of y'all minorities who be trying to act like y'all better than everybody else, meanwhile, half of y'all wouldn't be over here if it wasn't off the backs of black people and enslaved people, but I digress. You want to down every other group of people. A lot of y'all Cubans really can't stand black people. Y'all can't stand again other Latino groups. Y'all really think that y'all are the closest thing to whiteness and that you're going to be accepted and that you're this and that. And as you see, when it comes to Donald Trump, he doesn't care about anything that you have to say. He doesn't care that you voted for him or that your family members voted for him, because he gonna round your ass up just like everybody else and show you that you are just like every other minority. He don't give a damn about you. So bottom line is, they want them Cubans to get deported because they don't want them here. They want white people. Why y'all be begging to be so adjacent? So what is wrong with y'all? Is that, do y'all really believe that like your skin color makes you superior? Do y'all really believe that? Because like I just want you to, in case you don't know this, when you all came here and you were in, not just when you came here, but in the school systems, you know they put y'all in special ed classes and called y'all, I'm going to use the word, the official word that was put down. They called y'all retarded. Retarded. That's what they said. Because you couldn't speak English. And guess what else they did? You were in special classes, and you were and in those classes, they didn't teach you reading, writing, math. No, they taught them they taught them skills that would help them be in the labor force. Because they thought you were retarded. Their words. And then when the dark-skinned cousins came over, you said, "You's a nigga." And then didn't help them. Y'all, you're hypocrites, and you want to be around people that think you're retarded. And then you married them, and you married into their family, and you bred children who then called their grandma a nigga. And just because they could now speak English and read and write in English, you thought you got ahead. But guess what? Right now, because, you know, that brown skin be coming up generations, it comes back. Guess what they calling your grandkids? Niggas. I'm moving today, but I just heard this guy I have been begging for decades for Cubans to give me the lowdown on why they seem to not like each other. Not just the racism, okay? Like, okay, I'm like, okay, so is it colorism because they're dark Cubans? Is it because they're black? Like, the white Cubans? I want to know the deal. Oh my God. I'm going to put his name in here. If you're Cuban, go watch it and be so pissed that he's telling us. Because when we was begging to find out why the Cubans in Miami, why they be acting like that? So, Marielitos, I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. So apparently they didn't like, okay, wait, I want to get this right. Oh, I really don't have time for this, but I'm so excited to learn it. Not excited that it's true, but excited that finally somebody is freaking saying what it is. And that the reason that those Cubans are okay with Trump deporting Cubans right now is because they've been waiting on this. The Cubans that came over here before, that they sent the brown, they sent the, you know, the ones that maybe they didn't like so much, the ones that left. Well, that's when they came, and then, you know, they've been continuing to come. Oh my God, hold on. So they were taught to believe that, well, I mean, they were taught. This guy was like, the white Cubans, they were taught that the black Cubans or the poor, that they were trash, they were scum. And he's talking about his family because he says that that's what his family believes. He also said that that's where Marco Rubio comes from. And that's why they're all excited. Because when they left, the first wave of them left Cuba, they left because their properties were getting taken. He said these were the white presenting ones, and they were pissed. So they came here. And so they sent their racists here. And then they get here. And then I think he said in the 80s, when Castro said, okay, you all could let them go,
Let them go. You all could go if you want to. I think he said from the port Mariel, and maybe that's why they call them Marielitos or something. And so then he was like, if you were queer, if you were trans, if you were gay, they had you in jail. So he opened the jails, and then he was like, yeah, y'all could come. Y'all could leave. Go on over there. First of all, is that how Miami got so saucy? Because, like, I love it. Whatever, though. Okay. So anyway, so then when they get here, the white Cubans are like, oh, hell no. We just left y'all. We don't want y'all over here. They wouldn't give them jobs. They wouldn't rent to them. They were like, they were racist from the beginning. So where you think those Cubans had to go? Liberty City. Who you think was in Liberty City? Negroes. And so what did we do? We accepted them and was like, come on, y'all. Y'all can come hang with us. Because we always do that. We always do that. Let me not say always, because there's always some exceptions to the rules. But the reason I'm so excited to hear this is it explains so much. I always wondered why, and to this day, I'm always trying to be friends with everybody. And I always thought, like, okay, you down bad. If I'm down bad, you down bad. We two down bad, but we gonna be up together. Like, so let's go. And then they pretend like we cool, and then come to find out we're not. We're not. And then I just didn't understand, like, why? Because your grandma black. So it can't be race. Y'all, when are y'all gonna believe that racism is the root of it all? When are y'all gonna believe that? Well, and he also said classism as well. So this is a lifelong thing, right? Like, we're gonna have to worry about this every generation. We're just not gonna ever end racism. Oh my God. Or maybe y'all don't want to say that it's racism because you're the racist. Oh, can y'all confirm or deny? Okay, so we got this about Cubans. Anybody else want to come forward and tell us if that's your group too? The Italians, is that y'all too? Oh man, not the Italians. I like y'all. Oh, Indians, is that y'all? Is every group racist, have racism? All of them? I hate that for us. I really do.
Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. openly supported Mexican farm workers in California, led by Cesar Chavez and Dolores Huerta, saying their fight for dignity was part of a larger struggle against economic injustice. Despite this solidarity, many immigrant communities have turned their backs on Black Americans once they gained access to resources, whiteness, or social mobility. After the 1959 Cuban Revolution, many Cubans were granted special immigration privileges and categorized as political refugees. With U.S. government help, they quickly gained access to housing loans, small business grants, and political clout. As they grew in power, many Cuban Americans in Miami aligned themselves with conservative politics, even supporting anti-Black policies. By the 1980s and 1990s, Black residents in Miami were openly complaining that Cuban officials and business owners excluded them from opportunities. In fact, during the 1980 Liberty City riots, many Black Miamians expressed frustration over job discrimination and political exclusion by Cuban immigrants. I have traveled and lived in different countries. What I have seen is that many countries, whether they are Latin, Asian, European, etc., racist behaviors are mainly covert actions, activities that are hidden or concealed, or overt actions, activities that are open, more in your face. Years ago, as I was on my journey of learning Spanish language, I used to watch several Spanish TV programs such as Sábado Gigante, Despierta America, 12 Corazones, and Primer de Impacto, etc. While watching these shows through the years, I began to notice that these shows rarely, or if at all, had Afro-Latin people on the shows as host of shows or news anchors. That's when I started looking into the history of Latin American countries. On this Mahogany Culture and Travel channel, I have done a video about the history of Black people in Mexico that you can look at. that speaks further on the ancient history of Afro-Mexicans. Since the 1910 Mexican Revolution, people of African descent in Mexico were largely excluded from official documentation and national identity. In Mexico, there is a popular expression of mejorar la raza, a phrase that is used in Latin American countries, which means improve the race. It implies that you should marry or have children with a whiter person so you'll have better-looking kids. La raza has historically been used to refer to the mixed-race populations, primarily, though not always exclusively in the Western Hemisphere. For over a century, Mexico maintained a racial ideology known as mestizaje, which promoted the idea of a mixed-race national identity that primarily included indigenous and Spanish ancestry. This ideology effectively erased the presence and contributions of Afro-Mexicans from the country's history and identity. It was not until 2015 that Mexico officially recognized Black Mexicans as citizens of Mexico in a national census, acknowledging them as citizens with distinct Afro-descendant heritage. This was a significant milestone, as it allowed for Afro-Mexicans to be counted in demographic data, leading to a greater push for their rights and inclusion in national policies. However, racism and colorism remain major issues across Latin America, including in Mexico, Brazil, Honduras, Venezuela, and other countries. Many Latin American nations have deeply ingrained anti-Black biases due to their colonial histories, where African enslavement was brought in to work on plantations, mines, and other labor-intensive industries. Despite the abolition of slavery in the 19th century, racial hierarchies persisted, favoring lighter-skinned individuals and reinforcing discrimination against those of African descent. In many Latin American countries, a racial and social hierarchy exists where white or lighter-skinned individuals of Spanish descent hold the most power, wealth, and influence, while darker-skinned individuals, including Afro-descendants and indigenous people, often face systemic discrimination and economic marginalization. Although Mexico has an Afro-descendant population, the government historically confined them to certain regions, often keeping them out of national consciousness. The majority of Afro-Mexicans live in the states of Guerrero, Veracruz. Veracruz is a historic port city where enslaved Africans were brought. Oaxaca and Costa Chica, a coastal region spanning Guerrero and Oaxaca with high concentrations of Afro-Mexicans. These areas have historically been underdeveloped, with poor infrastructure, limited job opportunities, and a lack of government investment. The deliberate neglect of these communities has contributed to the continued marginalization of Black Mexicans. Many Afro-Mexicans in these regions have limited political representation, experience racial profiling, and face difficulties in accessing education and healthcare. In countries like Brazil, where the largest population of Afro-descendants outside Africa resides, systemic racism manifests in disparities in education, employment, and police violence. In Mexico, Afro-Mexicans have historically faced exclusion from political representation, economic opportunities, and social recognition. In Honduras, Garifuna communities, Afro-Indigenous peoples, have suffered from land displacement and violence. In Venezuela, despite a history of Black resistance, Afro-Venezuelans often experience discrimination in social and economic structures. Due to these systemic and cultural issues, Black travelers and expatriates should be cautious when visiting or moving to Latin American countries. While many regions are welcoming, the persistence of racism can affect access to services, treatment by authorities, and general safety. Racial profiling, economic disadvantages, and exclusion from opportunities can make it challenging for Black individuals to navigate these societies. Understanding the history of colonization and its lasting effects can help prepare those who plan to travel or relocate to Latin America, ensuring that they are aware of both the beauty and the challenges that come with experiencing these countries. Tell me what you think about this topic. Hope you find the information in this video informative. Feel free to like, subscribe, share, comment. Thanks for watching.